A while ago, I moved all the cables off the back of my door, and I thought I'm going to put them in a box instead. Now, it's loads more difficult to get to, loads more awkward to find things. It's just horrible, but it is a lot neater, and the back of the door is actually used kind of to put things on, like maybe a jacket or something. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this story is because when I was going through the cables, I found my soldering iron. And it's a soldering iron I've had for years. I've only ever owned 2 soldering irons. One was something I bought when I was about 13. I remember the woman in the DIY shop was really sort of reluctant to sell it to me because even back then, I guess people were concerned about the safety of kids and whether it was actually okay for them to sell a soldering iron to a 13-year-old. But they did. I must have looked trustworthy. And then the next one I got was like a yellow, more traditional looking soldering iron. But it's always been pretty poor. It's pretty weak, low temperature. I don't know. It's just never been a great soldering iron. And then I was going through the cables and found the soldering iron and thought, right, I'm going to get rid of it because I don't use it very often. And when I next need to solder something, I will get a different one. As is always the case, just a couple of weeks later, I'm now in a position where I do need to solder something in order to fix one of my lights. And I cannot fix it any other way. I mean, I absolutely need to use a soldering iron for it. And that's what this is. I went online, went to Amazon, of course, like you do. And the first ones I was looking at were, of course, like something decent like Weller. I was thinking, yeah, get a Weller and get a solder station from Weller. It's like £160. And I was like, I don't even use a soldering iron. This is a solder. I maybe use a soldering iron maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year. I don't need to be spending that much. So I found one of the cheapest ones I could. That's a solder station that has a sort of adjustable temperatures on and got good reviews. And that's what this is. I have absolutely no clue whether this is any good or not. I really can't tell you whether it is. But the one I got was this Lytool one. Oh, I did also get some solder from... the solder I got was from Weller. So that's this stuff here. It's really fine, actually. I didn't realise it was quite so fine. But yeah, this is the Weller solder. But the soldering station that I have got is this one, the Lytool digital display. Digital display. It's like something from the 80s when digital was a big deal. It's just got a display, right? You don't have to tell me that it's digital. And it's the BK71. Some of you may have seen this online, but whether this is any good or not, I don't know. I thought, considering this is £40 instead of £160 plus, probably with the salt, yeah, more than that actually. I thought it doesn't matter too much. If it's rubbish, I'll just accept the hit, and I will then go and say, right, I shouldn't have bought poor quality tools. But I'm taking a chance. There we go. This is what it's like. I'm going to open it with you and just show you what you get. Look, you get a little desoldering thing. That is cheap as anything. That plastic thing. Hopefully it's metal. Well, actually, they're usually not metal down the end, are they, these? So you get a little desoldering tool, sucker thing. And here's the actual iron itself. Gosh, it's pretty small. So yeah, fairly fine tip there. I don't know if it comes with multiple tips or not. And there's the connector to plug it into the base station. The base station, whatever you call it. It comes with a standard IEC mains lead. Very good. And it does feel pretty plasticky, I have to say. I wasn't expecting it to be incredible. So there we've got a little stuff on there. And this tiny bit of sponge, which, look how thin that is. Is that normal? I guess it fattens up when you put it in water, but that's I'm sure they're usually a little bit fatter than that. That just sits in the back of it here. But anyway, this just sits to the side, doesn't it? So you put the iron in there and then connect it to this bit. I'm thinking my battery isn't going to work for this, actually, because, yeah, I mean, it feels really, really cheap. It feels horrible. I hate buying stuff like this because I hate just this mass-produced garbage, like just cheap as anything. Corners cut at every possibility. If you looked inside, I don't know, is it main safe? Hopefully. But you do get some scary stories, and particularly as this is something that heats up. But the reviews were great. Hopefully not all from people who have been like sent these and stuff and put fake reviews on Amazon. And yeah, again, £40 instead of £160. I just can't justify it. Not for a soldering iron that I'm using maybe once and then putting away for the next 6 months. So this goes in here like this. And then that sits in there. There we are. Oh, there we go. I didn't see those. All right, it does come with some additional tips. That's good. All right, so we've got one like that. Looks like a blade. I don't know anything about this sort of thing. Little slightly smaller variant of the same thing, and then that's more like the traditional kind of solder tip that I'm used to, and that's that I would use, that type. And then another one that's kind of just a flattened off, I guess a flattened off version of the one that's in it at the moment, which is, I'll show you. One that's on at the moment is that one. How does this work? How does this come off? Does this hold? Ah, right, okay. So you take that little section off there, and you just swap the tip out. So I'll swap it out here for the one that I was saying I was used to, which is this one. Slot that over the heating element bit, and pop that on there. And I guess that's it, right? Turn the mains on. Okay, that's pretty good. So we are pulling 95 watts. Okay, so it doesn't use too much power actually. I thought it would use more than that. Good grief! What is that? It is that up to temperature already? You're kidding. Let's get into the solder. Ah, oh, I can smell it. Amazing. What's this? What's this for? What's the purpose of that? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Is that up to temp? It is. Wow. Oh, the smell of solder. God, that just reminds me of being a kid. That is a beautiful, beautiful smell. The electronics lab at school. You know the score. I'm just really impressed by how quickly it heated it up. I didn't know that was a thing. It uses. It's currently using 17 watts. So I assume I can just let it. Is this going to change the temperature? What, is this actually going down as quick as this? Does it lose the heat that quickly? So this is, I assume this is the measured temperature, and this is the set temperature, right? So if I push this up like this, bump this up, it's just heats up to compensate and comes up to temperature really quick. And turn it off at the side. Switch here at the side to turn it on and off. That's kind of neat, isn't it? I know I'm being critical here because of the fact it looks, it feels quite cheap. This box and stuff feels quite cheap, but I think it's just impressed me, the fact that it heated up quickly. You're all out there now saying, it's a soldering station, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. But I'm impressed by that. So there we go, a look at the Lytool BK71. They call it a high-efficiency digital display constant temperature soldering station. So the idea being, of course, that it maintains the temperature. Even when you're doing stuff with it, it can maintain it. And adjust accordingly to make sure that the correct temperature is maintained for the work you're trying to do, which is important if you're doing a lot of soldering stuff. For me, I just got to solder a light that I took apart the other day. In fact, before I go, I'll show you that light quickly while I try not to burn myself on this. This is the light that I took apart the other day. It's an old LED, 2012 I bought this, an old LED light, and it's just got a power, part of the power's come off here. Just got to solder one power cable back onto the battery thing because it's only charging. So it's only taking power from one battery on the back. Not the end of the world because it's got two battery connectors, but it's nice to have it working on both. So funny they've scratched the name of the chip off there. I wouldn't have thought it's that. You know, it's just a light. Is it that much of a secret? What chip, what IC you're using for your electronics? It's don't get over yourselves, guys. You know, you're not making high-end electronics here. There we are. I look at the solder station, the Lytool BK71. I'll put affiliate links for this because it is off Amazon, and I'll put affiliate links in the description. And if you do fancy taking a look at this or anything else on Amazon and you'd like to support the channel, I would very much appreciate it because anything you then buy off Amazon, even if it's some toilet roll or something like that, I will get a very small percentage. It's a very small percentage, but it is a percentage nonetheless of that sale. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.